Hey, welcome back to SnS Grills. I'm Jabin from Postal Barbecue, and today we're smoking up an amazing pork butt to make these delicious pulled pork sandwiches. We're gonna be cooking this low and slow until it's pull apart tender, and I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. And so let's get into the cook. As I said, welcome back to SnS Grills. We appreciate you being here. If you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, make sure to do that, as well as hit that notification bell for more great barbecue recipes just like this one. So today we're smoking this amazing pork butt to make those delicious classic pulled pork sandwiches that everyone loves. I started off preparing this pork butt yesterday, and so what I did is I looked it over and I trimmed off any of the unnecessary surface fat. And the reason that I did that is because there's so much internal fat already that we don't need all that external fat, and it also allows the rub to stick to the meat, giving us a better bark. Once our pork butt was trimmed up to where I like it, I then seasoned it with some kosher salt to dry brine it overnight to just allow that salt to penetrate into the core of this cut. And this is just gonna help give us a better overall flavor at the end. And so with this pork butt trimmed up and dry brined overnight, let's go ahead and season it up for today's cook. And so I'm gonna start off by applying a little bit of olive oil to the outside. And this is gonna be a binder for our rub to stick to. Flip that over. A little bit to this side as well. All right, there we go. And so today we're gonna be seasoning it with our Rockies rub. This is gonna go really great on this pork butt. And you can pick this up from our website, or if you don't have access to our Rockies rub, I'll make sure to add in a homemade rub that I'll include in the recipe, which again, you can also find on our website. We'll flip this over. And this is our top, and so this is gonna be our presentation side. And so we wanna make sure we do this last. All right, so with our pork butt all seasoned up and ready to go, let me tell you how I set up the slow and sear kettle. So today we're using the slow and sear and drip and griddle pan. And to get that going, I placed in about 12 briquettes into the corner of the slow and sear, and I got those coals fully lit. Once they're fully lit, I filled up the remainder of the slow and sear with unlit briquettes, and then I added some hickory wood on top of those coals just to add some nice smoky flavor to this pork butt. I also filled up the water reservoir using hot water, and then I closed the lid and got my temperature stabilized with my top vent open about a third of the way open, and my smoke hole also open about a third of the way open. So with our grill sitting between 225 and 250 degrees, let's go ahead and get this pork butt on the grill opposite the coals. Also going to insert a remote thermometer into the thickest part of this pork butt. And then we're going to close the lid and we're going to settle into this cook for the long haul, because this is going to be a long cook. And so we'll come back and check up on it again around that 4-hour mark. So we're 4 hours now into this cook, and our temperatures have been rock steady between 225 and 235. And I'm telling you, the smell that's already coming out of the slow and sear kettle is phenomenal. Let's open up the grill and take a peek just to see how that pork butt is coming along. Check out the bark, see if we need to add any more coals to the slow and sear, and just overall see how it's cooking. Oh wow, this looks really nice. You can see that that bark is starting to set up. It is sweating a little bit, which means we're getting close to the stall. And so once the stall hits, we're gonna bump that temperature up to around 275 degrees just to push through it a little bit faster. The other thing that I noticed is that the slow and sear is getting a little bit low. And so because the grill is open, I'm gonna go ahead and top up that charcoal right now. I'm gonna take all these coals, I'm gonna push them all to the one side, and then I'm gonna refill up the slow and sear with unlit briquettes. We'll close that grill grate back up. Then we're gonna close the lid, and we're gonna continue cooking this pork butt until that bark is set up nicely. Then at that point, we're gonna come back, take it out, and we're gonna wrap it in some foil. We're about 7 hours now into this cook, and I did let those temperatures climb just slightly just to help that bark form really nicely. I've been checking it just every once in a while just to see the progress of that bark. And so I'm gonna open up the grill and just show you what it looks like. Just look at that. This looks pretty good. And so one of the biggest differences you'll notice between when we last looked and now is that the bark is fully set up. So with this bark, what we're looking for is that it's fully set, it's fully adhered onto the meat. When we poke it, when we scratch it a little bit, it's not coming off. And so this is exactly what we're looking for. And so we're gonna take it off the kettle and place it into our foil wrap and continue cooking it that way. Quickly close this back up. And you'll notice that we have this foil double layered, and we're gonna just wrap this up. The second one. All right, there we go. Make sure we have it wrapped nice and tight, and then we'll get it back on the Slow and Sear kettle. There we go. We'll get our probe, and we'll get that back in there as well. It's about right there. Then we're gonna close the lid, and we're gonna continue cooking this until it reaches the internal temperature between 200 and 205 degrees. This is our target temperature. This is when it becomes pull apart, super tender, and it's exactly what we're looking for today. All right, so it's been nearly 10 hours of cooking this pork butt in the Slow and Sear kettle, and our internal temperature just reached 203 degrees. So I'm gonna open up the lid, and we're gonna just probe it for tenderness, just to double check to make sure that it's done. So let's go take a look. We're gonna pull out our leave-in thermometer, and then through this same hole, I'm going to probe it in a few different directions. We're gonna go in, go down. Oh, that feels really nice. And you can use that one hole to do a few different test spots, but I'm telling you, this pork butt is probe tender. And so we're gonna take it off the grill, and we're gonna wrap it in a towel, place it in a cooler, and let it rest for about 2 hours before we open it up to get ready for the taste test. All right, so after that full day of cooking, our pulled pork is all done, and it just shredded apart like nothing else. It smells so good. Do you know what? We're gonna make some sandwiches out of this, but I need to go for a taste first because this is just unbelievable. Oh my goodness. Wow. Right off the bat, it's got perfect smoky flavor. It's seasoned just right. Oh, let's go ahead and start making some of our pulled pork sandwiches. All right, so we're gonna start with our bun. This is a brioche bun. I like to use these, but if you have a preferred bun style that you like to use, go for it, use that one. And then really, we're just building it to our preference. This one today is more of that classic style pulled pork sandwich. And so this is how I typically build mine. I put a little bit of barbecue sauce on that bottom layer. Then we're gonna grab a bunch of this pulled pork. We'll place that on our bun. And guys, don't be skimpy with the pulled pork. This stuff is gold right now, and so make sure you load it up because you've been working hard all day, so you might as well make your sandwich great, right? And so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some coleslaw. This is some prepared coleslaw, then some coleslaw dressing that I quickly made up. Place some of that on top. And then lastly, another little drizzle of that barbecue sauce on top. We'll let that sort of just ooze down through the top and the sides. And look at that. Oh, you can see the bark and that smoke ring on the edges there. Oh guys, this looks incredible. So let's go for the taste test. Oh man. You know, right off the bat, when it comes to pulled pork, there's good pulled pork, there's great pulled pork, and then there's amazing pulled pork. That's what this would be classified. It's so good, guys. It's perfectly seasoned with that Rockies rub and that dry brine that we did 24 hours in advance. And that hickory smoke that we put on this pulled pork is phenomenal. You know, every time I use hickory on pulled pork, it just comes out so great. It's not overpowering at all, and it really just pulls out the natural sweetness that's already in this pork. And when you use the Sloan Sear kettle, it's easy and it's gonna turn out perfect every single time. So make sure to check out this pulled pork recipe. So that's how you make those incredible pulled pork sandwiches. They're delicious, they're smoky. I'm telling you, they are incredible. Hey, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure to do that, as well as hit that notification bell for more great barbecue recipes just like this one. And remember, 2 zones are better than 1.